Hi, this is the second of the tutorial series we are doing on consolidated Excel functions. In the previous video, we got granular values to give maximum control over the figures, which is ideal for consolidation. In this video, we are going to use spill functions, which spill many columns and rows of data into the sheet very fast. This is the sheet we're going to produce by the end. With one function, we will be getting a whole P&L or income statement for those of you in the United States. If I change the number of periods from 12 to 6, it changes the figures and headings. Now, we add 3 years of total columns. Or change to age by calendar quarters. Or filter by a cost center we have for reps, in this case Sam, held in tracking code 2 of Xero. It also optionally filters out Xero lines. So let's see how we create this. Take it away, Kim.
Okay, thanks, Jim. We are going to continue on the same sheet as before, which can be downloaded from the tutorial page of our website.
In the previous tutorial, you mentioned we are going to get a list of general ledger codes and headings, Kim, is that right?
Yes, we are going to use a function called CodeSpill, which can retrieve all sorts of data. In Y5 we enter the text, get code. Then write justify and bold that. In cell Z5 enter GL codes by head and name it CXL get code. And press return. Now let's add the formula CodeSpill and wire up the two parameters using the Excel add function window. Accessed from the formula button. You may need to select consolidated Excel functions in the middle selection box first. The first parameter is the company code, and the second is just a text code, in this case, GL codes by head. When finished, press return. You will get a list of GL accounts sorted by GL heading, spilled into the sheet. Many values from one function.
Nice.
The wizards create a nice sheet called CXL lookups, which have this and the codes in a selection box using Excel data validation.
Oh, that's good.
This may seem a simple list, but if CodeSpill is given an Excel range, which contains more than one company, then it builds a consolidated list of codes. A third optional parameter can filter out any GL accounts that have not been used for 1 or more years. If we go back to the formula using the formula button, and click on the help for that function, our website will list all the values you can ask for. I'm going to copy over a few values. And GL head. GL codes by head. And then tracking 2, which is the cost center for rep. This could be class or location in QuickBooks. You could use one of the CXL lookups sheets our wizards create instead of doing this, in which case the list would already be populated. And simply copy the selection list into your own sheet. Now we will define a selection box using Excel data validation. Select the data toolbar and press data validation. Next, select list. Highlight and select the list. Now if we change Z5 to GL head to get a list of all headings, sections, and calculated totals you can ask for. Changing this to tracking 2 gives us a list of reps.
Oh yes, that's useful because you could present it as a selection list in a cell.
Yes, the wizards do just that. Let's put Z5 back to GL head so we can reference the GL codes later. Now we are going to get a whole set of sales figures for each general ledger code using the function GL valspill. First we need to add some extra input cells. In cell B25 enter text, years. Then write justify and bold that. We give it value of 2 and name it CXL years. Next we go down and add periods. And set to 6 and name CXL periods. And finally add style. We leave it blank and name it CXL style. Let's pop the GL codes in cell B30 from above using copy and paste. In D30 we add the formula GL valspill. Here we can point to the cells we want to reference. And this time, because we have named all cells, we don't have to use any absolute referencing. So we have company code, GL code, years, and period. Next it says cost center and department, which is our generic term for tracking 1 and 2 for Xero, and class and location in QuickBooks. Finally, we wire up options and style. Press OK when finished. Now we should see the sales turnover for GL 200 for 2 years and 6 periods magically appear. And drag the formula down. Now we have 4 rows of GL values from our chart of account, from 4 functions, 1 in each row. So just 4 calls to the fast database, so the data is returned really fast. But we can go further with this later. In C6 enter Tim, and the functions will then filter by rep Tim. And hashtag revenue is giving a total, even broken down for rep Tim. Let's remove that.
Oh, that's nice. How about adding some column headings to that?
If we use Xero up as a GL code, consolidated Excel will add the headings to that row. If we put the filter back to rep Sam, we can see it adds an additional column with the rep filter listed in it, and the name of the tracking code too as set in Xero in the heading. In this case its name is rep. So far we have used hashtag revenue in these courses, one of the Xero sales headings. If we scroll back to our spill code list, in column Z, which we left listing GL headings, we see all the headings and other tags. These may vary slightly, according to accounting package. The codes beginning with hashtag calc get a calculated value, so you always get the correct value from the chart of accounts. So let's copy hashtag calc net profit and paste into sheet. And copy the formula down to get the net profit. Consolidated Excel is subtracting the total overheads and cost of sales from sales values for you. So if a GL account was added to the chart of accounts but not listed here, the totals will still be correct. Simple.
Smart.
The great thing about this is if I alter the number of periods, to say 12, we get 12 periods. And years to 4, we get 4 years total. These can be totals for year or year to date. Don't forget you can select the formula cell and click on the formula button on the Excel toolbar. Then follow the link to the extensive help to find out more about all the parameters. Or the functions link on the CXL task panel gives access to the function reference guide. Here we see mentioned the extensive drill down to transactions, and quick charts to show costs and sales trends. The pie charts are broken down by cost centers. These graphs even show stock profit and a forecast of payments. We cover this in a separate video.
Oh, that must be really useful.
Let's copy the hashtag revenue tag down to replace the net profit we had. Let's show some more magic. And now add a full stop to the end. We now have all the child GL codes in the revenue section of the chart of accounts. And if I add arrow up, Shift 6 on most keyboards, we add headings. And the plus symbol to add totals to the bottom of the section.
Wow, I really like that.
Now I will copy that down the sheet. And change the code to hashtag report PL. To spill the whole P&L, or income statement across rows and columns.
Wow, and that's really fast.
We can see we have many lines which are 0. If we add a greater than sign, we filter out all 0 rows.
Yes, bugger me. That's the dog's bollocks.
Yes, Jim, it is. Now I'll just remove, or hide, some of the top rows so you can see the rep filter in action on one screen. Filtering the whole P&L using the results of one function. You can even do the same for the whole balance sheet using the code hashtag reportball. Now we see it filtered for Rep. Sam.
And I guess it can do different aging methods really fast too.
Yes, that's thanks to the highly optimized database we call FAST. This table summarizes all financial information by financial or calendar periods, quarters, and weeks, so the figures are retrieved as fast as possible. In this example, code CQ for calendar quarters for 12 periods, giving 3 years of calendar quarter turnover from one query. Even for customer, vendor and stock turnover, quantity turnover, margin and profit. Now let's get a current balance of bank accounts on the balance sheet. Let's add code #bank with a full stop, arrow up and a plus sign. To extract all items in bank account section with heading and total. I just need to remove the year and period from the parameters, since we want to ask for the latest balance. And we still have the greater than symbol, so let's remove that to include the zero value rows. Nice, now we have all bank balances from using just one function. Let's add current liabilities with code #curliab, which I have copied from our list in column Z, the list we got at the start of this video. And now copy the formula down using Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. We now have the total of current liabilities. Next we ask for the accounts under this heading, using full stop. And arrow up for column headings. And finally plus sign for the totals at the bottom. Oh, and let's just remove the zero value rows, using the greater than symbol. Now we have all current liabilities listed.
Fantastic.
Or a whole balance sheet using #reportball. I'll just speed the process up as it is a simple case of copying the formula down and changing the code to #reportball. Fab, or what as you say in England. That's the dog's bollocks. So that kind of concludes the training, but let's just run one more wizard quickly. The getGLValues demo wizard creates 4 sheets, which show each function and examples of how to use it. The first sheet shows granular functions in action, which we saw in the previous training video. You can see how the different parameters work easily. The second sheet creates an income statement for one or more companies, the same as the income statement wizard, which we discussed at the end of the first video on how relative periods and years work, in rows 3, 4, and 5. The third sheet shows off what we have just done in this video, but wires up all the options. The fourth example gets the P&L or balance sheet using the spill functions we just covered. Just one last point, it's always best to run the wizard and customize the results than manually build from scratch, because no one likes hard work.
Oh, that's great, Jen. In the next video, I believe you're going to cover age debt and forecast payments. Consolidated Excel is a kind of secret wand for financial wizardry.